Jalen is not practicing right now. Either is Kobe, and that's as far as I'll take it. Okay, that's the end of your update.
I guess starting off looking back at Oklahoma, after the game, you said you want to kind of reserve judgment on the game. Now you've had the chance to look back at it. I guess what do you feel like you learned about your team?
Yeah, well, one is that we'll battle for 60 minutes. I'm proud of that, and all circumstances. I guess win or lose, you get a lot more text messages when you win than you do when you lose. But still, people that watch this football team that I highly respect and interact with talk about how this team plays hard, and I feel the same way. So, again, as I said, I thought we were a little hesitant and cautious in some spots. I think we caught a team that, had their backs to the wall, like I said, a little bit. And, people, again, I don't know what's going on inside their program, but again, externally, people are saying what they say, and that's an excellent football staff and a team that, they got the quarterback healthy and he got hot, and we didn't have enough answers there. So to give up that many yards and that many plays is disappointing. Look at it, and we talked in here about our penalties and things like that. We didn't have any fourth quarter penalties. I think we did some things in a step in the right direction. We won the turnover battle, but not enough, not nearly enough to handle that afternoon.
Players have talked a lot this season about having Monday's kind of the start of a new week, and you flush what happened the previous week. Have the guys been able to do that through 2 days?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we challenged them a little bit there, but not in a way that, because we've talked about it before, is trusting process and how we go about it, and there's not a bunch of practice changes or something like that, but a challenge of attention to detail and doing things better, and as we add and tweak things and do those, I thought today, I thought we moved around really well, better than we have probably the last 2 Tuesdays. But we got to make sure that carries over for another 3 days of prep and then on Saturday. But they've handled that part, I think, of the last 2 losses as well. That's what we talk about. How do you handle success? How do you handle defeat? And but it's gonna take a little bit more yet to go. This schedule isn't going to get any easier, and this conference is going to be tough. I say that's been the theme of every excuse me every midfield conversation in conference play this year with the opposing coach has been the topic of how tough this conference is from top to bottom. And I guess if it's a nice way of saying maybe we're pulling our share of the rope now, and so we have to be prepared and no matter what we're going through.
It's been 7 straight weeks of games, and as guys pick up nicks and bruises, at this point, the week before the bye week, do you do anything differently to help those guys get them fresh?
This week we've been true to our practice model and things. Over the last 3 weeks plus, we've had our share of guys miss practice, and do I think that affects us? Yeah, it affects timing. It affects continuity. It is what it is. There's guys that are really, gotten through it and things like that. Guys like Kenny Logan is as aggressive and as physical as he plays for the position he plays. But he's working through it, and there's guys like that are out there every day. There's other guys that, again, that always goes to the trainers that we hold it back. A week from now we'll be talking differently about taking advantage of that. I still would look back. I'd rather have it where the open week where it is than week 2, where it possibly could have been, I guess, if that was the option. So I think that'll help us, hopefully.
Lance, after you go over the film, how'd you feel about how Jason Bean did, getting out in the starting?
Again, 4 touchdown passes. I thought he did some good things. I think, again, Jason has to work on things, as we talked about, and we have to look at it a little closer on some things of everything we put on his plate. I think Andy and Jim have done that. To delay a game, things like that are disappointing to everyone, including Jason, is getting the call, getting the personnel, getting it read and everything, and getting up there. We can't we can't do that. One interception, I know he'd like to have back, and the other one was a heck of a play. So you got to give credit sometimes, again, to the opposition. So it was a solid performance, but I think he'd tell you the same, that we probably need a little more yet as well. But he's somebody asked me today, like reps in practice with the first, he got work, but once you get into the season, you're limited in time and that. So how much work, how much timing with everybody did he have, but again, he played well a week ago. And I thought, again, the play of Mason Fairchild, LJ making plays, I think we're in good shape. We just want to be in better shape.
Does he seem more comfortable now, just around the building, having that start under his belt?
I think so. I don't think, he's a pretty flat-lying guy, which is good. It's hard to get a read and sometimes with him, and that's, so he's a pretty cool customer. It isn't like he gets rattled and shows it in any way. So I don't think he flinched Saturday in front of 80-some thousand, or did he when he got thrown into duty, here a week ago. And that's one thing you admire about him, that he stayed ready. And I don't feel in anything that, we have to look at something, but it was like all of a sudden, like he wasn't, like it was foreign to him, or he wasn't ready for it, or he wasn't paying attention, or anything like that, which is, sometimes, especially for guys that have not just being a backup, being a guy who started and then backed up, sometimes, it can be mentally challenging to stay locked in and motivated each and every day, and I think he's done a nice job with that.
Did he run as much as you guys would have liked, or did you run him as much as you would have liked?
Oh, I don't know. We got to be careful. We don't have, I thought Ethan Basco had a very nice week of practice for a true freshman who just got pulled back up, and to get those type of reps and stop working off cards and things. But again, I don't know if we want to throw, have him jump in front of 80,000 right away. So you got to be careful and try to keep him healthy and be smart right now for the short term. But I don't think we have it set, especially with what we do in the read game is like, okay, he's got to run it this many times. We're going to script it up this many times that he has to carry it.
And with you mentioned the yardage, being disappointed that you gave up. Is there anything you guys are looking at with, man, we gave up all those yards, but we were still right there? I mean, is there a positive side of that? Is there a mental edge that you can gain from that point of view?
I think so, because I think I know Andy kind of talked. I won't have he'll be better at it tomorrow for you, but how many, we say possession, 3 and outs that we had, versus if we had just a couple times where we could have answered it a little better, that we're there. I mean, I want to make sure I say it right, is that, 2 weeks ago we talked about a defense that gave up, 11 points or something. Now all of a sudden it's not like, oh, gee, nobody knows what they're doing, and the players, aren't very good or something like that. This team has played good defense, and we talked about winning a different way, and we had a bad day. And it was, I don't want to say it was an I told you so, but you that's something you could be cautious of, a guy, a team of that caliber, I mean, They stacked some recruiting classes together at that place, okay? And you can look across the sideline and look at it, and then they get healthy, they get in rhythm, and you know, they were a top 10 team to start the year. And their 3 losses, and I think you've heard me say this already, but I mean, their 3 losses are to 2 top 20 teams in the country and a top 10 team in the country. So it's not like it's completely off in that regard. So we should respect that and take a look at it and learn and grow.
I'm curious with the offensive line in terms of pass protection, how impressed have you been with that group so far this season, even going up against, you know, really quality defensive lines?
I think it's a holistic thing, first of all. Like, what is that? You know, the 5 have done a really nice job. I think our quarterbacks have understood the timing and rhythm of getting rid of the ball. Our tight ends and running backs have also been a big part of that. Our play action has also played part of that. And schematically, I think between Scott Fuchs, Andy, and Jim Zabrowski doing a nice job, and Jonathan Wallace as well, as far as what the backs' roles are in protection as well. I think all those things together has given us a chance, and really has probably from about game 3 or so on last year, okay? And I think we've done a pretty decent job. I don't know if anybody has the research, but if you went back and looked really our last 2 years in Buffalo as well, I think we did a pretty good job as well, since Scott's been our O-line coach, of finding ways to protect that quarterback.
And on the defensive side, I don't have the snap counts in front of me, but it feels like Kalen Gervin has played a lot for you guys this year. Yeah. What has he brought, I guess, to that defensive backs room, and what have you liked about what he's brought?
Gerv's been outstanding in so many ways since he got here, and really appreciate him. If I use the word maturity and experience to the room, because he's been through a fair amount, understands a lot about college football on and off the field, that he's helped in the locker room. He's a very versatile player. He's playing a little bit more in the slot and different packages. When Kobe went down, now he's just back out at corner. I think he's one of our more physical corners and fundamentally a sound tackler. I've been impressed with that. I'm really happy he's in our program, not just because of play, just by who he is. And I think as we grow through the rest of this season and into next, I think you'll even see him become more of a leader in this program in a lot of different ways.
Building off of that, I guess, then, how important is it that a lot of these guys you have brought in have multiple years left? Like Kalon, you look at Eric at linebacker. How important is that on defense that so many of these guys have that extra year?
Yeah, that was part of the plan. It's very important. It was part of the plan. There was only a couple that and those were guys that were more summer. That was going to be a kind of add depth, so to speak, and competition. I don't want to say depth because it doesn't sound like they'd ever start, and that's not true. It had competition. But the part is that building this program, whichever way that would be, through high school, junior college, or the portal, was not going to be done in a quick fix manner. It had to be and we've said it from the day we arrived, so you have to make sure, and that just shows that we're not wavering from that. So bringing guys in that we knew we wanted, guys with multiple years, and hopefully, preferably, that they could have arrived in January, not just to learn the schemes, but to learn the inner workings of the culture and what we want, what we expect, and to really be part of that, and then holistically help us change this program.
Last week, you correctly predicted that OU's quarterback would play. Now Baylor has a concussion at quarterback. Do you have a feel for it, and is it more difficult this week?
I could go work at the circus or something if I get this right, couldn't I? I start guessing weights here in the room or something. We don't want to do that, though. I would imagine, you don't want to get into what, if in the concussion world, but I think the extra 2 days will probably definitely benefit his chances of playing, let's say that. I would expect to see him.
Pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, they had another good quarterback situation there that they had to make and first of all, I haven't had a chance to, I probably should have started this with, I have the utmost respect for Dave Aranda and for the job he's done there, and how he goes about it and how quickly he put that program into a championship program, and I think how he handled his quarterback situation attests to his character, is that, he made a decision and let the non-winner, so to speak, is have other opportunities where many people just try to hang on to two. And so to have a quarterback that led him to a conference championship, he's able to run and throw. He makes all the plays. They do, Coach Grimes, our offense coordinator, who's going to be probably a head coach in January somewhere, is going to be does such a great job of balancing what they do, schematically sound. They do it and do it well. But the quarterback gives him a chance. He's got that extra moxie you can kind of see about him that you could see a team rally around. And but then again, they bring in a redshirt freshman who's he looks athletic and he's got a presence about him, and there wasn't a whole lot of drop off. And I think that Gary Wood also goes into some of the speed and at the skill positions and holistically how they use it. Really liked how they use their tight end. So again, it's a complete offense that we're gonna have to be ready for.
Considering how nicked up you guys are, were you surprised you dropped out of the rankings? I mean, that was a close game. You're still 5-2 and all
again, that. If I said I got overly worked up, I wasn't overly. As hard as it was to crack it, it probably was just as easy for them to remove us. Okay, and which means we still got a lot to prove to people, and. But we have to prove it on the field. We have to be consistent, and and keep playing well and doing it and earning it is what it's going to matter anyway. And it's nice. It's been good for our program. I'd never want to underestimate that, but it's really going to be where you are at the end of the year that's going to matter most.
Do you have any update on just Lonnie's overall status? I mean, is he fully there, healthy?
Come on now. I said I was going to answer this.
I'm sorry. You just mentioned Jalen Kobe.
He played 15 snaps, and he's practicing.
Okay. You just mentioned the other two and not him.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. I thought it was a delayed like strategy you learned or something somewhere. If
a lot of people are asking.
Yeah. But yeah, we hope he's available.
Okay.
Anybody else? I'll take another one because I don't want to end it on that one. So, anybody?
I actually had a question. So,
Sure.
Oklahoma this past weekend, it was their homecoming weekend, and Baylor, this is their homecoming weekend.
We're a lot of teams' homecoming game, and that's one of the other goals of this program is that we don't become everybody's homecoming game.
Do you think that adds like a feel to going into like that opposing crowd, it being homecoming weekend compared to?
You take it for what you're at there for, I guess, is the best way to say it. If most of the schools we're playing are drawing really well anywhere, but I'm sure there's an extra, energy in their stadium for something. Then again, maybe it's an extra distraction and they have other events that they want to get to or something. So I don't know. I know this though is that. In most cases, schools strategically pick a homecoming game. And we have to make sure that we work not to be people's homecoming game.